Just, you can let it go for 5 minutes and we can cut whatever's good out of it. Like, let's just talk. Go, hit record.
It is recording.
Right. Brought to you by...
No, you first have to go. Agenda Alpha Epic. I never said I'll snooty like that.
Okay, that's good. We can cut that part. We can be like, this one's for B, Loose, Lejo, Oscar, and the band, the tribe. Made for community, brought to you for delight. Don't laugh.
Don't laugh.
Welcome to the 11th Talent Podcast, brought to you by Underground Generosity.
The Gen Alpha expressions aren't mockery, they're translation. Just as ancient texts were written in the language of their time, this wisdom is offered in the language of our time. 13 Ways of Being, Ultimate Gen Alpha Edition letters for when everything is mid-AF and you need that main character Glow-UpA Sigma guide to finding your based era when the world is Lowkey sus introduction. When everything you believed is straight cap skull Sarah was doom scrolling again and it was not giving good vibes. Climate disasters serving absolute dystopian energy, politics more chaotic than a TikTok comment section. The economy said, nah fam, we're broke, and literally everyone claiming they understood the assignment when clearly nobody passed the vibe check. The revolutionaries said, burn it all down, no cap. The reformers said, work within the system, bestie. The spiritual girlies said, it's all an illusion, period. The activists said, get involved or you're Lowkey mid. The philosopher said, nothing matters. That's the tea, sis. She was absolutely stuck in analysis paralysis mode, and honestly, mood. That's a whole vibe, and we've all been there. If you picked up this book, you're probably deep in your confused villain arc too, and that's completely valid, bestie. We're living in times when every single thing that used to make sense is giving broken NPC energy, when old answers are absolutely not hitting anymore, when reality itself feels sus as hell. But what if this isn't a crisis to solve, but a portal to walk through? What if this breakdown is actually your glow up in disguise? No cap, far F. The journey that's about to be bussin' fire this book came from a simple recognition. Throughout history, humans have found meaning through completely different ways of understanding life, and all of them are valid, but some hit different depending on your main character era. Some find purpose through fighting injustice, revolutionary hot girl energy. Others through building alternatives, creative baddie CEO vibes. Still others through spiritual awakening, mystical sage mode, activated, creative expression, artistic icon status, or accepting what can't be changed, stoic Sigma grind set. None of these approaches is right or wrong, bestie. They're different instruments in the orchestra of human wisdom, each serving its own vibe for different seasons of your life. It's giving choose your fighter, but for existence itself. The 13 letters that follow represent 13 distinct ways of being human when times are Lowkey unhinged and the world is serving chaos energy. Each letter is written from the perspective of someone who found genuine truth and meaning through that particular approach, and they're all absolutely sending their wisdom to you. You might find yourself drawn to some perspectives and absolutely allergic to others. That's actually based AF. This isn't about adopting all 13 approaches that would be giving try hard energy. It's about discovering which ones are your vibe and where you are in your journey. Why letters though? The format choice explained. I chose the letter format because wisdom is personal, period. These aren't academic dissertations that make you want to touch grass immediately. They're intimate communications from one human to another, each sharing what they discovered about how to live with purpose and meaning while serving absolute main character energy. Each letter stands alone, so you can read them in any order or return to specific ones when life calls for that particular medicine. Think of it as a spiritual playlist. Sometimes you need the revolutionary banger, sometimes you need the mystical slow jam. But read together, they form a complete map of human possibility that can help you navigate whatever challenges you're facing. Your internal GPS, but make it spiritual. As you read these letters, pay attention to your internal responses. Which perspectives make your heart go brr with recognition? Which ones make you want to argue in the comment? Which ones offer you a sense of peace or direction you've been seeking like it's the Holy Grail? Your reactions are literally data, bestie. They're telling you something important about who you are and what you're ready for in this moment of your life. Your inner wisdom is never wrong. It just speaks in feelings instead of words. This isn't about finding the one true way cringe energy. We don't claim that. It's about developing the flexibility to respond to life from whichever perspective serves best in each situation. Sometimes you need the fire of the revolutionary. Sometimes you need the patience of the reformer. Sometimes you need the creativity of the builder or the acceptance of the mystic. Wisdom isn't about having the right answers, that's about having access to the full range of human responses to life's complexity. Facts, no printer. Fax machine, a personal note, vulnerability hours, 2 hearts. These letters emerged from my own journey through a period when everything I believed about life, meaning, and purpose fell apart like a poorly built Jenga tower. In the space of that breakdown, I discovered that what I thought was crisis was actually expansion and invitation to explore ways of being I had never considered. Each letter represents a perspective I lived with fully for a period of time, discovering its gifts and limitations, its medicine and its shadow. What I found surprised me. There is profound wisdom available through every approach to life, even ones that initially seem foreign or absolutely not it. The greatest gift wasn't finding the right perspective that would be giving main character syndrome, but developing the capacity to fluidly move between them as life requires. Some situations call for fierce action, others for patient acceptance. Some moments demand creative innovation, others spiritual surrender. It's giving emotional range, but for your whole existence. How to use this book, the manual nobody asked for, but everyone needs books. Read slowly, bestie. Let each letter settle into your awareness before moving to the next. Notice which ones you want to rush through, probably triggering something, and which ones you want to linger with, probably healing something. Both responses are telling you something important. Consider keeping a journal as you read, tracking your responses and insights. You might discover patterns about which approaches feel most natural to you and which ones challenge you to grow. Document your glow-up journey. Most importantly, remember that these are invitations, not prescription. Take what serves you and leave the rest like you're at a buffet. Trust your own inner wisdom to know what you need. Your intuition hits different when you actually listen to it. The promise no cap section sparkles by the end of this journey. You won't have all the answers that would be sus anyway, because life keeps updating like an app. You'll have something better, a toolkit of proven ways that humans have found meaning, purpose, and direction in challenging times. You'll discover that you don't have to choose one way of being for your entire life. You can be a revolutionary when justice calls, a healer when wounds need tending, a creator when new possibilities want to emerge, and a mystic when the mystery of existence beckons. You can literally be your own multiverse. The goal isn't to become someone else. We don't want that for you, but to become more fully yourself with access to the full spectrum of human wisdom and response. Let the letters begin, and may they absolutely slay while healing your soul. Nail Sparkles Letter 1, the revolutionary fire. When the system is broken, break it back, bestie. We need to talk. And this conversation is about to be spicy. The house is literally on fire, and they're out here debating fire safety regulations like it's a casual Tuesday. I cannot, with this energy, I write to you from the recognition that our systems are not broken, they're working exactly as designed. And the design is absolutely sending me to the shadow realm with rage. They were designed to concentrate power in the hands of the few while convincing the many that this is natural, inevitable, and just. It's giving gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, but make it systematic oppression. The only rational response to a rigged game is to stop playing by their absolutely NID rules and start writing your own. The awakening plot twist. We've been played I for years. I believed what they taught me. Work hard, play by the rules, trust the system, and justice will prevail. I phoned in, I recycled, I donated to charity. I thought I was part of the solution, but turns out I was low-key part of the problem by being complicit. Then I watched peaceful protesters get absolutely wrecked while politicians protected Wall Street like they were guarding the last iPhone. I saw children going hungry while billionaires bought politicians like they were collecting rare Pokemon cards. I witnessed communities destroyed by corporate greed while those same corporations received tax breaks that would make your head spin. The system isn't failing. You were failing to see what the system actually is. Once you see it, you can unsee it. It's giving Matrix red pill energy, but make it revolutionary. Welcome to the real world, Neo. Population, everyone who's tired of the BS. The clarity when the T gets scalding hot skull, once you see the game clearly, everything changes and you can never go back. Economic inequality isn't a bug, it's a feature. The system is designed to funnel wealth upward while keeping working people desperate enough to accept whatever scraps fall from the table. It's giving Hunger Games, but make it capitalism with extra steps. Democracy is theater. Politicians are employees of corporate interests, not representatives of the people. Your vote matters only within the narrow range of options they're willing to offer. It's giving, you can choose any color as long as it's black energy, but for political candidates. Justice is a commodity. The wealthy buy their way out of consequences while the poor are criminalized for existing. Equal justice under law is marketing copy, and we're not buying what they're selling, period. Climate destruction is profitable. They'll burn the planet before they'll threaten quarterly profits. They're not ignorant about climate change, they're profiting from it while we all slowly roast. It's giving supervillain origin story, but the supervillain already won. The revolutionary choice, choose your fighter energy, crossed you, stand at the crossroads, bestie. You can continue pretending the system works while it systematically destroys everything you care about. People believing that gradual reform will somehow convince those empowered to give up that power voluntarily. Spoiler alert, they won't. And if you believe they will, I'd have a bridge to sell you. Or wake up to your power as part of the majority who have been convinced they're powerless. Join the long tradition of people who refuse to accept injustice as inevitable. Join the base resistance and make history. What revolution really means, it's not what Netflix taught you. Flexed biceps revolution isn't violence, it's the withdrawal of consent from illegitimate authority. It's giving, I don't think so, energy to systems that don't serve life. And that energy is powerful. It's refusing to cooperate with systems that exploit you. It's building alternatives that serve life instead of profit. It's organizing with others who see through the lies. It's using your voice, your vote, your wallet, and your presence to say no to what destroys and yes to what creates. Revolution is remembering that all power comes from the people and we can withdraw it anytime we choose. That's the ultimate flex, and they don't want you to know it. Your revolutionary practice had to be that revolutionary bestie glowing star. Start where you are with what you have. Stop buying from companies that exploit workers or destroy the environment. Vote with your wallet. Make it hurt their profits. Join or support organizations fighting for justice in your community. Find your people, build your tribe, learn the real history they didn't teach you in school. The tea is absolutely scalding shared truth with others. Ready to hear it. But don't be that person who's preachy, nobody likes that energy practice, mutual aid, caring for each other outside of systems designed to keep us isolated, community care over self-care. Use your unique gifts like the weapon they are, artists. Create work that opens minds and hearts to justice. Your art can literally change the world. No pressure workers. Organize for dignity and fair treatment. Solidarity hits different when it's real. Parents teach children to question authority and stand up for what's right. Raise the next generation to be base students. Learn the skills needed to build a just society. Knowledge is power. Literally, content creators, use your platform for justice. Your followers are waiting for real content. Everyone, vote like lives depend on it, because they literally do. Democracy is participation, not spectation. The path forward, the plot armor is real. Shield, the revolution isn't coming, it's here. And it's serving absolute main character energy. All around the world, people are waking up to their power like they just had the best coffee of their lives. Communities are creating alternatives to extractive capitalism. Movements are demanding real democracy. Young people are refusing to accept a future of climate chaos and economic oppression. The old world is dying rip. We won't miss you. The new world is struggling to be born, and you get to be a midwife for the future. You get to choose which side of history you're on, and spoiler alert, the side of justice always wins eventually. Remember, bestie, every revolution in history started with ordinary people who decided they'd had enough. The American Revolution, the abolition of slavery, women's suffrage, civil rights all began with people just like you who refused to accept injustice as permanent. They were the main characters of their own stories, and now it's your turn. You have more power than you know, and that's not just motivational poster talk. The system depends on your compliance. Your awakening threatens their control more than any weapon ever could. The fire of justice burns in your heart for a reason. Trust it, feed it, let it guide you toward the world we know is possible, a world that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. The revolution begins with your next choice. Make it count, make it bold, and make it yours. In solidarity and absolute fire, the revolutionary who's done with this BS fire is practice, revolutionary awareness this week. Choose one system you interact with daily work, shopping, media, consumption, and research how it actually operates. Who profits? Who pays the cost? What would a just version look like? Take one small action aligned with your values. Touch grass, but make it revolutionary. Document your findings like the investigative journalist you are. Memo magnifying letter 2, the patient reformer seedling. Change the system from within, but make it strategic. Dear fellow human who's tired but still trying, and we see you. I understand the revolutionary fire, bestie. I felt it burning in my chest like the spiciest hot sauce, demanding immediate justice, complete transformation, the dismantling of everything that causes suffering. That energy is valid, no cap, and we need that passion. But I write to you from the wisdom of someone who has learned that sustainable change requires patience, strategy, and working within the structures that exist while gradually making them more just. It's giving long game energy and slow burn character development vibes. The lesson of history, the receipts don't lie. Bestie Books, every revolutionary promises that destroying the current system will create something better. But history tells a different story, and the tea is not pleasant, but we're going to sip it anyway. The French Revolution promised liberty and delivered the terror heads literally rolled. The Russian Revolution promised worker power and delivered Stalin plot twist. Not the vibe. The Iranian Revolution promised freedom and delivered theocracy. Freedom for who exactly? Meanwhile, gradual reforms have created most of the progress we take for granted. Workplace safety laws, civil rights protections, environmental regulations, public education, social security. None of these came from revolution. They came from patient work within existing systems, and the receipts are right there in your history books. The wisdom of institutions, hear me out before you click away. Classical institutions aren't just obstacles to change, they're repositories of human wisdom about how to organize complex societies without everything falling apart. Democracy, flawed as it is, represents centuries of learning about how to peacefully transfer power without civil wars. Courts, imperfect as they are, provide frameworks for resolving disputes without everyone just fighting in the streets. When we destroy institutions, we don't just eliminate their flaws, we lose their accumulated wisdom and the stability they provide for vulnerable populations who depend on them. It's giving throwing the baby out with the bathwater energy, and vulnerable people always suffer most when systems collapse. The strategic path how to actually win this and direct hit real change happens through moves that would make a chess grandmaster proud, building coalitions across different groups who share common interests, even if they disagree on other issues. Progress requires bringing people together, not dividing them into allies and enemies. Unity hits different when it's strategic. Understanding how power actually works in existing systems and learning to use those mechanisms effectively. This means studying policy, I know, boring but necessary, building relationships with decision makers, and mastering the art of political persuasion. Knowledge is power, literally and figuratively. Incremental progress that builds momentum over time, like a really good TikTok going viral. Each small victory creates the foundation for larger changes while proving that the system can respond to organized pressure. It's giving slow and steady wins the race, but make it political revolution. Protecting what works while improving what doesn't. Reform means keeping the valuable aspects of existing systems while addressing their failures. Don't fix what ain't broken, but definitely fix what is. And there's a LOT that's broken. Your reform practice, the actual playbook that works clipboard, get involved locally where your voice actually matters. School boards, city councils, and county governments make decisions that directly affect daily life. These positions are often filled by people who simply showed up and volunteered. Showing up is literally half the battle, and local politics is where individual voices have the most impact. Support good candidates, do your homework, research candidates' actual policy positions and track records, not just their social media presence. Donate time or money to those who share your values. Vote in every election, especially local ones where your vote carries more weight. Your vote hits different in local elections, FR. Learn the process. Knowledge equals power. Understand how laws are actually made, how budgets are allocated, how regulations are created. This knowledge is power, and power is what creates change. Become the person who actually knows how things work. Build relationships. It's giving networking, but make it political. Get to know your representatives, both elected and appointed. Attend town halls, write letters, make phone calls. Personal relationships change minds more than protests. Politicians are humans too. Shocking, I know. Work on specific issues. Depth over breadth always wins. Choose one or two areas where you can make a meaningful contribution. Become knowledgeable about the details and work with others who share your focus. Become the person people call when they need to understand that issue. The long view patience is a virtue. Actually, alarm clock the reformer's path requires faith in the long arc of human progress, even when progress feels slower than dial-up internet. Change often happens slowly, sometimes imperceptibly, but it does happen. The progress is real, even when it doesn't feel like it. Consider how far we've come and try not to cry. Slavery was legal for most of human history. Women couldn't vote, children worked in factories, pollution was unregulated, discrimination was openly practiced. All of these injustices were changed through patient reform work, not revolution. The challenges we face today, climate change, inequality, political polarization, are complex problems that require sophisticated solution. They won't be solved by burning everything down and starting over, though. Sometimes that sounds tempting. They require the careful work of improvement, adjustment, and gradual transformation. The reformer's faith, the energy that sustains, sparkles, I believe, in democracy because I've seen it work when people actually participate. I believe in institutions because I've watched them evolve and improve over time. I believe in gradual change because I've witnessed its power across generations. This doesn't mean accepting injustice or moving slowly when urgency is required. It means understanding that sustainable change requires building consensus, not just expressing outrage on social media. The system isn't perfect, but it's improvable. And improvement, step by step, generation by generation, is how we build a world that works for everyone. It's giving evolution energy, and evolution always wins in the long run. In patient progress and strategic planning, the reformer who's playing the long game seedling chart practice, civic engagement, touch grass, but make it democratic this week, choose one local issue you care about. Research it thoroughly, attend a relevant public meeting, school board, city council, planning commission, and introduce yourself to one elected official or community leader. Ask how you can help. Document the experience. Democracy is participation, not just opinion. Ballots Articles Letter 3, the creative builder building, build the world you want to see because waiting is not the vibe. Beloved creative soul, he's ready to make things happen while others argue about whether to fight the system or fix it. I've discovered a third way that's absolutely bussin' and giving main character energy. Build something better alongside what exists. I write to you from the joy of someone who has learned that the most powerful revolution isn't destruction or reformation that's creation. It's giving I'll make my own reality with blackjack and justice energy. And honestly, that's exactly the vibe we need. The discovery, the plot twist, we all needed light bulb. I spent years exhausted by the endless battle between revolution and reform, watching people argue online while nothing actually changed. Fighting takes enormous energy and often produces more heat than light, giving Twitter discourse energy. Working within systems often means accepting their limitations and moving at their pace, giving bureaucracy nightmare vibes. Both approaches were giving burnout energy, and I was not here for it. Then I discovered I could simply start building the world I wanted to live in. Right now, wherever I was, with whatever I had. The revelation was Lowkey, life-changing, and gave me back my power. The creative path had to be that builder, bestie, artist palette building means serving solutions instead of problems, and it hits different. Creating solutions instead of just identifying problems. Anyone can point out what's wrong. We get it. Everything is mid. Gothers ask, what would right look like? And then start making it real. It's giving solution-oriented energy that actually moves the needle. Starting where you are with what you have. You don't need permission, funding, or perfect conditions. You need vision, creativity, and the willingness to begin. It's giving work with what you got, but make it revolutionary and resourceful, focusing on what you can influence directly. Instead of trying to change vast systems that don't want to change, builders focus on their immediate community, their daily interactions, their sphere of influence. Local impact hits different because it's real and you can actually see the results, making the new so compelling that it makes the old obsolete. The best way to challenge what doesn't work is to demonstrate what does work. Show, don't tell, period. Results speak louder than arguments every single time. What builders create the menu of possibilities, glowing star, economic alternatives that don't suck. Worker cooperatives, local currencies, time banks, tool libraries, skill sharing networks, ways of creating and exchanging value that prioritize human well-being over profit maximization. It's given economy, but make it humane and actually sustainable. Educational innovations that don't crush souls, homeschool cooperatives, democratic schools, online learning communities, apprenticeship programs, alternatives to industrial education that develop human potential rather than producing compliant workers. It's giving education that actually prepares you for life. Community structures that actually work, eco villages, co-housing, intentional communities, neighborhood councils, ways of living together that foster connection, mutual support, and shared responsibility instead of isolated nuclear family suffering. It's giving village life, but make it modern. Ecological solutions that heal the planet, permaculture gardens, renewable energy systems, waste reduction projects, local food networks, practical demonstrations of how to live in harmony with natural systems instead of destroying them. It's giving sustainability that actually works and looks beautiful. Cultural creations that feed the soul, art that inspires, media that tells new stories, festivals that build community, rituals that mark life's transitions, culture that nourishes the human spirit rather than just stimulating consumption and making you feel empty inside. It's giving culture that makes life worth living. Your building practice, the creative process, hammer start. With your guests, you have them. Don't argue. What are you naturally good at? What brings you joy? How can you use these abilities to create something beautiful and useful? Your unique talents are literally waiting to be deployed in service of something bigger. Find your people. Building is better together. Building is more fun and effective when done with others who share your vision. Seek out people who share your vision and complement your skill. Community makes everything better. Faith and collaboration creates magic. Think small and local, start where you are. Grand visions are inspiring, but change happens through small, concrete actions you can actually complete. What can you build in your neighborhood, your workplace, your community? Start where your feet are planted. Prototype and iterate, fail fast, learn faster. Builders learn by doing, not by planning perfectly. Start with simple experiments, see what works, adjust, and try again. It's giving fail fast, learn faster energy, and that's how innovation actually happens. Share freely, open source everything, document what you learn, and share it openly with anyone who wants to know. Your experiments can inspire and inform others working on similar projects. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. The builder's advantage, why this path hits different sparkles building, has unique advantages that make it superior to arguing online. It's inherently positive. Instead of fighting against what you don't want, you're working toward what you do want. This attracts allies and sustains motivation because people want to be part of creating something beautiful. It creates immediate results. Even small building projects produce tangible benefits right away, providing feedback and momentum. Results hit different than protests because you can actually point to something real. It's contagious in the best way. Success stories inspire others to try their own building projects, creating a multiplication effect. Good ideas spread naturally when they actually work. It's resilient AF. If existing systems fail, builders already have alternatives ready. If systems improve, builders contribute to that improvement. It's giving prepared for anything. The ripple effect, how change actually spreads water wave. Every community garden shows that neighbors can work together instead of staying isolated. Every successful cooperative demonstrates that business can prioritize purpose over profit. Every alternative school proves that education can nurture whole human beings instead of just creating test takers. These examples ripple outward like the best kind of viral content, changing what people believe is possible. Policymakers visit successful projects and craft supportive legislation. Entrepreneurs see new business models that actually serve people. Communities realize they have more power than they thought. Building changes minds by changing reality, and reality is the most convincing argument there is. The invitation your creative calling awaits performing arts. What wants to be built through you? What's calling to your creative spirit? Maybe it's a community garden that brings neighbors together and grows actual food. Maybe it's a cooperative business that treats workers fairly and shares profits. Maybe it's an art project that tells new stories about what's possible. Maybe it's as simple as hosting dinner parties that foster real conversation, or starting a book club that explores wisdom traditions, or organizing skill shares where people teach each other practical abilities that schools don't teach. The world needs your creativity, your vision, your willingness to try things that haven't been done before. Your unique perspective is literally necessary for the future we're all trying to create. Don't wait for permission they're not going to give it anyway. Don't wait for perfect conditions, they don't exist. Don't wait for someone else to start, they're waiting for you. Begin building the world you want to live in, one small project at a time. The future is literally waiting for you to create it, and it's going to be beautiful. In creative collaboration and building beautiful things, the builder who's making it happen, building sparkles, practice, create a building, touch grass, but make it creative. This week, identify one small thing you could build or create that would make your immediate environment more beautiful, connected, or functional. Gather the resources you need and begin. Invite others to join you because everything is better with friends. Document the process and share what you learn. Artist Eveling Letter 4, the acceleration is surrender tornado. Let the contradictions collapse themselves because some things need to fall. Fellow witness of the chaos, I've watched the revolutionaries exhaust themselves fighting systems that absorb their resistance like some kind of capitalist energy vampire. I've seen reformers get captured by the very institutions they sought to improve faster than influencers get sponsored. I've observed builders create alternatives that get co-opted by the dominant paradigm quicker than you can say gentrification. I write to you from the recognition that all these approaches share the same flaw. They assume human control over processes that have already moved beyond human control. The system has become its own entity with its own agenda, and it's not taking requests anymore, bestie. The system's perspective when the tea gets really dark. Hot School, our technological, economic, and political systems have become autonomous, operating according to their own logic, regardless of human intentions or interventions. They're giving AI overlord energy, but without the AI, which is somehow worse because there's no one actually in control. Consider the evidence and try not to spiral into existential crisis mode. Climate change accelerates despite decades of environmental activism. Wealth inequality increases despite centuries of economic reform. Surveillance expands. Despite privacy advocates and constitutional protections, political corruption deepens despite transparency efforts and scandals. These aren't failures of human effort, bestie. They're signs that the systems themselves have momentum that transcends any individual or group's ability to direct them. The systems are literally on autopilot, and the autopilot is broken. The acceleration insight, the controversial take that makes sense. Rocket, if these systems are going to collapse under their own contradictions anyway, and all evidence suggests they are, then the most compassionate approach is to let them complete their trajectory quickly rather than prolonging the inevitable suffering. It's like ripping off a band-aid. You can do it slowly and make it hurt longer, or you can do it fast and get to the healing part. Acceleration means stop trying to manage the unmanageable. Your efforts to control complex systems often just teach them to become more sophisticated at achieving their original goals. It's trying to redirect a hurricane with a fan energy. Stop cushioning the fall. Reforms that make intolerable systems slightly more tolerable just extend the period of suffering. Band-aids on bullet wounds ain't it, chief. Help the contradictions surface. Push systems to their logical conclusions so their dysfunction becomes undeniable to everyone, not just the people paying attention. The wisdom of surrender, the hardest lesson dove. This isn't nihilism or despair, it's strategic wisdom about when to fight and when to flow. Sometimes the most powerful action is no action, and that takes more courage than fighting. A river doesn't fight the canyon walls. It finds the path of least resistance and carves new channels over time. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop resisting what's already happening and learn to navigate it skillfully instead of exhausting yourself swimming upstream. Your acceleration, practice the art of strategic non-interference, direct hit, stop feeding what you want to see, and reduce your participation in systems that consistently betray their stated purposes. Withdraw your energy from processes that reliably serve wealth over life. Vote with your feet, your wallet, your attention, and your participation. Prepare for what's coming, build your ark before the flood, develop skills and relationships that will serve you when current systems become unreliable. Learn to grow food, repair things, heal illness, resolve conflicts, create beauty, become anti-fragile, and help others do the same. Study complex systems knowledge is survival. Understand how emergent properties work, how feedback loops operate, how systems evolve and adapt. This knowledge helps you surf change rather than being crushed by it. Pattern recognition is any superpower. Practice presence, stay grounded in reality. Acceleration requires being fully present to what's actually happening rather than what you wish were happening. Develop your capacity to witness without reactivity. Reality is what's happening, not what you want to happen. Build resilience, create multiple backup plans, create personal, community, and ecological resilience that can thrive regardless of which systems succeed or fail. Resilience is the ultimate preparation for uncertain times. The art of timing when to act and when to wait, alarm clock acceleration, requires exquisite timing, knowing when to act and when to wait, when to resist and when to flow. It's giving strategic genius energy mixed with Zen master wisdom. Sometimes acceleration means stepping aside and letting systems expose their own contradictions without your help. Sometimes it means making strategic interventions that push systems past their stability point. Sometimes it means simply bearing witness as transformation unfolds. The key is staying responsive to what the moment requires rather than locked into any fixed strategy. Flexibility is everything when the ground keeps shifting. The faith of letting go, the hardest trust. Folded hands acceleration requires a different kind of faith, not faith that you can control outcomes, but faith that whatever emerges from the breakdown of unsustainable systems will be more aligned with life than what exists now. This doesn't mean whatever comes next will be comfortable or easy. Transition periods are inherently chaotic, and chaos is not always fun understatement of the year. But breakdown often precedes breakthrough, and systems that can't serve life eventually give way to systems that can. The paradox of known action, the ultimate power move. Performing arts, the deepest secret of acceleration is that sometimes the most powerful action is non-action, refusing to prop up systems that need to fall, declining to participate in processes that consistently produce harm, choosing not to save what needs to end. This creates space for something genuinely new to emerge, rather than just recycling old patterns in slightly modified forms. Sometimes the best thing you can do is get out of the way and let natural consequences happen. The invitation, the surrender, the hardest choice, water wave. What are you trying to control that doesn't want to be controlled? What systems are you supporting that consistently betray their own stated values? What would happen if you stopped trying to fix things and started trusting the process of creative destruction? Acceleration isn't giving up, it's a sophisticated form of strategic engagement that works with the natural rhythms of systemic change rather than against them. It's giving work smarter, not harder, but for social transformation. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let something fall apart so something better can be born. In wise surrender and strategic non-interference, the accelerationist who's done fighting hurricanes, tornado dove practice, strategic surrender, touch grass, but make it Zen this week. Identify one system or situation you've been trying to control or fix that consistently resists your efforts. Practice letting go of your attachment to managing the situation. Observe what happens when you stop pushing and start flowing. Document what you notice. Sometimes wisdom comes from not doing. Menlo Sparkles, letter 5. The mystic recognition, crystal ball. You are what you've been seeking, plot twist. You never left home, beloved seeker, but actually you're already found AF. I've been where you are absolutely exhausted by the endless search for something to fix the feeling that life isn't quite right, that you're somehow separate from the peace and love you're seeking. The seeking was giving hamster wheel energy mixed with spiritual materialism. Far. I write to you from the recognition that what you're looking for isn't something you can find, achieve, or become. It's what you already are. Plot twist of the century, you never lost it in the first place. The end of seeking, when the search stopped searching, magnifying glass tilted left for years, I sought awakening, enlightenment, cosmic consciousness, something that would finally make me feel complete and not like a hot mess. I tried meditation, therapy, psychedelics, spiritual teachers, self help books, workshops, retreats. The spiritual marketplace was giving expensive energy with minimal lasting results. Some experiences were profound, genuinely life changing. Some insights were genuine, had me shook for weeks. But the seeking itself kept reinforcing the very sense of separation it was trying to heal. The seeker and the sought were never two different things, but the seeking made it seem like they were. Then I recognized something ridiculously simple. The awareness that is seeking is the same awareness that would be found. Mind equals blown. Universe equals trolling us with the obvious. What you actually are, the ultimate plot twist sparkles right now as you read these words. Notice that you are aware, not thinking about awareness actually being aware right now. This awareness isn't something you have, it's what you are. Every experience you've ever had, thoughts, feelings, sensations, perceptions, has appeared in this awareness. The awareness itself has never changed. It was present when you were 5 years old and couldn't tie your shoes. It's present now reading these words. It will be present when you're 90 and complaining about kids these days. This awareness is completely present. It's always here, always now, no cap, literally cannot be anywhere else, unconditionally loving, and accepts every experience equally. It's giving unconditional love that doesn't depend on you being perfect, inherently peaceful. It's never disturbed by what appears in it, main character energy, but peaceful, naturally whole. It lacks nothing and needs nothing. It's literally complete as it is. The illusion of problems when drama is just drama performing arts from the perspective of awareness. There are no problems, only experiences appearing and disappearing in the space of consciousness. It's giving this too shall pass energy, but make it enlightened. The problems you think you have are thoughts about problems appearing in awareness. The awareness itself is never touched by any problem. It's like the sky, which is never stained by the clouds that pass through it, no matter how dramatic the weather gets. This doesn't mean challenges don't arise or that action isn't needed. It means the deepest peace isn't found by solving all your problems, it's found by recognizing what you are beneath all problems. The simplicity of being, it's really not that deep cherry blossom. You don't need to achieve anything, become anything, or understand anything to be what you already are. The enlightenment you're seeking is literally reading these words right now. You are the thing you're looking for. You don't need to be a better meditator, a more spiritual person, or someone who has their life figured out. These are just stories appearing in awareness. The awareness doesn't need to improve, it's already perfect and always have been. The peace you're seeking is closer than your next breath. It's what's reading these words right now. You are literally what you've been looking for this whole time. Your contemplative practice, the pathless path railway, simple awareness, the easiest thing ever throughout the day. Notice that you are aware. Don't analyze or understand awareness, just notice it's here. It's giving be here now, but make it effortless. Present moment attention, the only moment that exists. When you find yourself lost in thoughts about past or future, gently return attention to what's happening right now. The present is literally the only place awareness exists. Welcome everything. Resistance is futile anyway. Practice saying yes to whenever experience is arising, even difficult ones. Let awareness be the loving space that welcomes all experiences equally. Fighting reality never works. Rest in being ultimate self-care. Take moments throughout the day to simply rest as the awareness you are without needing to do or achieve anything. Just be. It's giving ultimate self-care energy. Question the seeker plot twist investigation. When you notice yourself seeking something, happiness, peace, love, success, ask, who is seeking? Often the seeking dissolves when you can't find a actual seeker doing the seeking. The pathless path when there's nowhere to go, cyclone. This isn't a path in the usual sense because there's nowhere to go. You're already home. It's more like remembering what you've temporarily forgotten, like finding your phone when it was in your hand the whole time. You might have profound experiences or subtle recognitions. You might feel nothing special at all. The recognition of what you are isn't dependent on any particular experience. Awareness is always present, whether it feels special or ordinary, dramatic or boring. Sometimes the awareness of being awareness is crystal clear. Sometimes it's obscured by thoughts and emotions like clouds covering the sun. Both are perfect. Awareness remains unchanged, whether it's recognized or not. Living from recognition when life gets real blowing star, when this recognition stabilizes, daily life becomes more natural and effortless, but you're still wonderfully human. You still experience challenges, emotions, and human situations, but they're no longer problems to be solved. They're experiences arising in the space of consciousness. Actions flow more spontaneously from love and wisdom rather than from need and fear. Relationships become more authentic because you're not seeking completion from others. Work becomes service because you're not trying to get anything from life you already are what you were trying to get. The invitation home you never left houses. This isn't about believing what I'm telling you, it's about recognizing what you already know in your deepest being. The truth recognizes itself when it sees itself. Take a moment right now to notice that you are aware. Notice that this awareness is peaceful, present, and whole. Notice that this awareness is not separate from what you call yourself. This recognition might last a moment or longer. Either way, it's pointing you toward what you actually are beneath all the stories you tell yourself about who you are. You are not broken. You don't need fixing. You are the whole, perfect, peaceful awareness in which all experience appears. You are literally already home and always have been. Welcome home to yourself. The journey ends where it began with you. In recognition and love that was never absent, the mystic who stopped seeking crystal sparkles practice. Simple awareness touch grass, but make it conscious several times today. Pause and simply notice that you are aware. Don't think about awareness, just recognize its presence, like noticing the sky is blue. Rest in this noticing for a few moments. Let this become a gentle reminder of what you actually are. No effort required. Sunrise letter 6, the void embracer whole, nothing matters, and that's perfect freedom, no cap, fellow traveler in the existential darkness, and it's actually liberating. I've seen through all of it, the meaning making, the purpose seeking, the endless attempts to make existence matter in some ultimate way. Every single bit of it, absolutely mid energy from start to finish. I write to you from the vast freedom that comes when you stop trying to make life significant and start embracing the magnificent meaninglessness of it all. It's giving nihilistic liberation energy. And honestly, it's the most freeing realization you can have. The liberation of nothing, the ultimate freedom, hack free button. Everything you think matters will be gone in a cosmic instant. Your worries, your achievements, your relationships, your causes all temporary blips in an indifferent universe that was never going to save you anyway. The universe literally does not care about your problems, your dreams, or your 5-year plan. This isn't nihilistic despair. This is the most liberating recognition possible. No cap far. When nothing ultimately matters, you're free to choose what matters to you right now, in this moment, without the crushing burden of cosmic significance. The weight is literally lifted off your shoulders because you realize you are carrying nothing but air. The weight of meaning while carrying is exhausting. AF face dashing. Most human suffering comes from trying to make life mean something permanent, and it's absolutely exhausting. We burn ourselves out seeking purposes that will justify our existence. Spoiler, existence needs no justification accomplishments that will make us matter to who. The universe doesn't have opinions, relationships that will complete us. Bestie, you're already complete beliefs that will explain everything. Some things just are and that's fine. Experiences that will finally satisfy you as satisfaction is temporary by design, like a good meal, but existence doesn't need justification. You don't need to matter to the universe. The universe doesn't Quran, that's what makes you free. It's giving permission to just exist energy without having to earn it. The perfect emptiness space to breathe, finally Milky Way, when you stop looking for inherent meaning, you discover something surprising. The absence of meaning isn't empty in a depressing way, it's empty in a spacious way. It's getting room to breathe, but for your entire existence. Like a room with no furniture, the void creates space for whatever wants to emerge. Without predetermined purposes, you can respond spontaneously to what life presents. Without fixed meanings, every moment becomes fresh and open to infinite possibilities. The void isn't something to fill, it's something to rest in. It's giving ultimate Zen energy mixed with, I don't have to perform anymore, relief. Your void practice embracing the nothing like a pro performing arts embrace meaninglessness and feel the relief. When you catch yourself making something important, remember that it's not. Feel the actual relief that comes with letting go of the weight of significance. It's giving taking yourself less seriously energy, and it feels amazing. Stop seeking purpose, make it up as you go. Instead of asking, what's my purpose? Ask what feels alive right now. Purpose is something you create, not something you find like a hidden treasure. You're the author of your own meaning. Release attachment to outcomes. Detachment hits different. Since nothing ultimately matters, you can act without being attached to results. This paradoxically makes your actions more effective because you're not desperate about outcomes. Find freedom in impermanence. Everything passes. Everything you're clinging to will pass away, and that's beautiful. Let this truth free you to enjoy what's here without grasping. Nothing lasts forever, and that's what makes each moment precious. Rest in not knowing mystery is the point. You don't understand existence, and that's perfectly fine. Stop trying to figure it out and start appreciating the mystery. The not knowing is literally the most interesting. The paradox of caring when nothing matters, everything can heart with rhythm. When you truly accept that nothing matters, you become free to care about everything, not because you have to, but because you choose to. It's giving caring without attachment energy, and it's sustainable. You can love deeply without needing love to be eternal. You can work passionately without needing your work to be ultimately significant. You can fight for justice without needing justice to have cosmic importance. This caring becomes lighter, more playful, more spontaneous. You care because it feels good to care, not because caring will save you or the world from meaninglessness. The end of seeking when the search finally stops, stop sign in the void. All seeking ends not because you found what you were looking for, but because you've seen through the seeker. There was never actually anyone seeking anything, just seeking appearing in consciousness. There's no enlightenment to achieve, no problems to solve, no life to perfect. There's just this moment appearing and dissolving in the vast openness of existence. That's it. That's literally the whole thing. This doesn't make you passive. Actions still happen, choices still arise, life still unfolds. But the desperate energy of seeking is replaced by the natural flow of responsiveness. The dark night's gift when everything feels pointless, crescent moon. If you're in a period where nothing seems to matter, where all your previous sources of meaning feel hollow, where existence feels empty, congratulations. You're discovering the void, and it's actually a massive gift. This isn't depression, though. It might feel some more. This is the gift of disillusionment, the falling away of illusions that were never true anyway. The dark night is literally leading you to ultimate freedom. Let yourself be empty. Let yourself not now. Let yourself stop trying to make it all make sense. The void is not your enemy, it's your liberation from the exhausting game of having to matter In the heart of meaninglessness, you might discover a different kind of aliveness, one that doesn't depend on anything being important or significant. The invitation to nothing, the ultimate freedom. Dove, what would happen if you stopped trying to make your life matter to some cosmic authority? What would remain if you released all your purposes and meanings? Who would you be if you didn't need to be anyone in particular? These are philosophical questions that are invitations to direct experience of the freedom that comes when you stop carrying the world on your shoulders. The world doesn't need you to carry it anyway. It's doing fine without your help. The void is not empty in the sense of lacking something. It's empty in the sense of having infinite space for whatever wants to emerge. It's giving unlimited potential energy without the pressure to actualize it. In magnificent meaninglessness and perfect freedom, the void embracer who's done performing whole sparkles practice releasing significance. Touch grass, but make it existential this week. When you notice yourself making something very important, pause and remind yourself, this doesn't ultimately matter to the universe. Feel the actual relief that comes with this recognition. Notice how this frees you to engage more authentically with whatever you're doing. Document the freedom. Memo for day 1 or 7, the cosmic comedian clown face. The universe is having a LaFond, so can you, because this is all hilarious. My fellow comedian in the ultimate cosmic theater, I've been through the revolutionary fire, the reformist patience, the builder's creativity, the accelerationist surrender, the mystic's recognition, and the void's emptiness. And you know what I discovered? The whole thing is absolutely hilarious. We're literally living in the greatest comedy show ever created, and most people don't even realize they're both the performers and the audience. It's giving main character syndrome, but make it cosmic. The setup, the cosmic joke explained, for those who don't get it yet. Performing arts, we're talking monkeys on a rock spinning through space at ridiculous speeds, having very serious conversations about very important problems, completely missing the fact that the entire situation is cosmic comedy show. It's giving main character syndrome, but make it planetary and absolutely unhinged. We create governments, groups of monkeys deciding what other monkeys can do, money, imaginary points that determine who gets bananas, and philosophy monkeys thinking very seriously about why they exist. And then we forget that we made IT. Oh, the audacity, the absolute commitment to the bit. Just kiss. The punchline, everyone is part of the joke. No exceptions faced with tears of joy. Here's what's sending me to the shadow realm with laughter. Every single approach to life is both completely true and completely ridiculous. The cosmic joke includes everyone, no exceptions, not even the people who think they're too serious for jokes. The revolutionary passionately fighting injustice, adorable. A monkey very concerned about how other monkeys distribute bananas, but also justice is important, which makes it even funnier because it's both meaningful and absurd. The mystic recognizing the unity of all existence, touching. A monkey having a profound realization that it's the same consciousness as all the other monkeys. True and hilarious simultaneously. The universe is really out here trolling itself. The nihilist declaring nothing matters. Brilliant. A monkey so committed to meaninglessness that it makes meaninglessness meaningful. The irony is chef's kiss and the universe is cackling. The meta joke, it goes deeper, always deeper hole, but here's where it gets really funny. Even recognizing the cosmic comedy is just another monkey with another theory about why the other monkeys are taking themselves to. Seriously, I'm literally being a monkey explaining why being a monkey is funny. The meta joke is strong with this one. The humor includes itself. The joke is always one level deeper than wherever you think you found it. It's jokes all the way down, turtles all the way up, and comedy in every direction you look. The liberation of laughter when you finally get the joke free button, when you see the cosmic comedy, several magical things happen and your whole life changes. All perspectives become equally valid and equally Hilarious. Want to save the world? Delightful. Want to transcend the world? Charming. Want to deny the world exists? Magnificent. Commitment to the bit. All equally beautiful, all equally absurd, all equally worthy of both respect and giggle. All suffering becomes comedy material. The corruption you were fighting, great setup. The enlightenment you were seeking, wonderful punchline. The meaninglessness you were embracing, perfect comedic timing. Even your existential crisis is part of the show. All seeking becomes play. Instead of meaning to find truth, you get to play with perspectives like trying on different costumes. Instead of meeting to solve problems, you did to dance with paradox. Life becomes improv comedy, and you're both the actor and the audience. Your comedy practice how to live the joke like a pro circus tent. Look for the absurdity everywhere. It's always there. In any serious situation, ask, what's funny about this? Usually it's that humans are taking themselves very seriously while doing something inherently ridiculous. The absurdity is always there if you look for it. Embrace your own ridiculousness. You're hilarious. Accept it. You're a temporarily organized collection of atoms that thinks it has problems and opinions about reality. That's hilarious. Enjoy the comedy of being human. You're both the joke and the audience, and that's perfect. Play with perspectives. Life is drag, basically. Try on different viewpoints like costumes in a cosmic theater. See how many roles you can play without getting stuck in any of them. Life is drag, spirituality is performance art, and you're the star of the show. Find the cosmic perspective, zoom out for laughs. When you're caught in drama, zoom WAY out. How will this matter in 100 years? 1,000 years? From the perspective of the galaxy? The cosmic perspective makes everything funny because the scale is so absurd. Laugh with, not at, we're all in this together. The universe is it, Krule is playful and having the time of its life. We're not the butt of the joke. We are the joke and the joke teller and the audience all at once. It's giving, we're all in this together, but make it cosmic comedy special. The recursive humor, the joke that jokes about itself, counterclockwise arrows button, even this letter about cosmic comedy will become serious to some people. They'll develop techniques for accessing cosmic humor and create institutions for teaching the art of cosmic comedy. People will write dissertations about the philosophy of cosmic laughter and probably charge money for comedy enlightenment workshops. And that will be hilarious too. The cosmic joke is so generous that it includes its own distortion. It allows itself to be turned into another serious spiritual practice, which becomes more material for the comedy. The joke includes the joke about the joke infinitely. What actually happens, the practical magic of laughter sparkles when you get the joke. You don't become passive or cynical. You become more playful and authentic, and life gets so much better. The laughter doesn't diminish your caring, it makes it lighter and more sustainable. You still care about people caring as part of the show you're enjoying. You still take action playing as a kind of action. You still feel emotions. The full range of human experience is entertaining when you realize it's all performance art. But none of it has the desperate seriousness it had before. Everything becomes lighter, including the heavy stuff. Gravity loses its grip when you realize it's all levity. The invitation to play, join the Cosmic Comedy Club Confetti Ball. What if your whole life is a cosmic comedy and you're both the lead actor and the audience? What if all your problems are just plot devices in a very entertaining story that the universe is telling itself? What if your seeking is the universe's way of having fun, exploring itself through human form? What if enlightenment is just the moment when the cosmic comedian realizes it's been telling jokes to itself all along? The show never started and will never end. You've always been both the performer and the audience. The fourth wall was never there to begin with. It was just another prop in the cosmic comedy. Break a leg out there. You already. That's why you're stumbling through life so entertainingly. In cosmic giggles and infinite laughter, the comedian who finally got the joke, Clown Sparkles practice, cosmic perspective, touch grass but make it comedy this week. When you find yourself taking something very seriously, ask, what would this look like from the perspective of the universe having a sense of humor? Notice how this shifts your entire relationship to whatever you're dealing with. Document the funny moments. Life is comedy gold when you pay attention. Performing memo, letter 8, the integrated human jigsaw. After all the perspectives, just being here and that's enough. My fellow traveler who's seen some things, you've journeyed through 7 ways of understanding life: revolution, reform, building, acceleration, recognition, void, and comedy. You fought systems, transcended dualities, denied existence, and laughed at the cosmic joke. You've basically completed the spiritual warrior training program and the advanced course. And now you're here, still human, still breathing, still needing to decide what to have for lunch and whether to respond to that text message. It's giving enlightened but still need groceries energy. And honestly, that's exactly where wisdom lives. I write as someone who has learned that wisdom isn't about finding the one true perspective. It's about developing the flexibility to respond to each moment with whatever approach serves best. It's giving spiritual toolkit vibes mixed with choose your fighter energy. The art of appropriate response, choose your fighter moment by moment video game. After exploring all perspectives, you discover something beautiful. You don't have to choose one way of being forever. You can be a multi-class character in the game of life, and it's actually more fun and more effective. Sometimes the revolutionary fire is exactly what the moment needs when you encounter genuine injustice that can be fought effectively. Sometimes the reformist patience serves better when working within systems can create meaningful change without burning everything down. Sometimes the builder's creativity flows naturally when new possibilities want to emerge through you. Sometimes the accelerationist wisdom appears when you need to stop controlling and trust the process of creative destruction. Sometimes mystical recognition dawns when the unity beneath separation becomes obvious. Sometimes the void opens when you need rest from meaning making. Sometimes cosmic humor bubbles up when taking things too seriously becomes ridiculous. And sometimes you just need to be a regular human buying groceries, helping friends, fixing what's broken, scrolling TikTok, and wondering why you're like this. The wisdom of seasons, different vibes for different times. Her perspectives are seasonal, bestie. Just as you wouldn't wear shorts in winter or a parka in summer unless you're chaotic like that, different life situations call for different approaches. It's giving outfit changes for the soul and dressing for the spiritual leather. Facing systematic oppression, revolutionary energy might be perfect. Working on gradual policy change, reformist patience serves better. Starting a community project, builder creativity is calling your name. Dealing with systems beyond your control, accelerationist acceptance helps you flow. Experiencing profound meditation, mystical recognition flows naturally. Overwhelmed by existence, void perspective provides the relief you need. Stuck in seriousness, cosmic humor lightens everything instantly. Just living daily life, simple human presence works perfectly. Your integration practice, the meta practice of all practices, counterclockwise arrows button, develop perspective flexibility, emotional intelligence for life approaches. Practice recognizing which approach serves each situation. This becomes intuitive with time, like knowing which tool to use for different tasks. It's giving emotional intelligence, but for your entire approach to existence. Stay curious about resistance. Resistance is information. When you find yourself rejecting a particular perspective, explore why with genuine curiosity. Often, our resistance points to where we need to grow. Your triggers are literally your teachers in disguise. Notice your defaults, know your patterns. What perspectives do you naturally gravitate toward? What ones do you avoid like they're vegetables? Balanced integration means having access to the full range, not just your favorites. Practice seasonal shifts change is the only constant. Allow yourself to move through different phases without judgment. You might be revolutionary in your 20s, mystical in your 40s, and integrated in your 60s or cycle through all perspectives in a single day. Embrace the changes. Hold it all lightly. Meta-awareness prevents spiritual materialism. Remember that even integration is just another perspective. Don't make a religion out of being flexible. The moment you think you've mastered integration, the inner Hearst will probably laugh and share you something new. The return to simplicity after all that complexity cherry blossom after exploring all the complex ways of understanding existence, you often discover that the deepest wisdom is surprisingly simple and accessible. Be present. Most of life happens in the ordinary moments between dramatic events. Presence is always available, requires no special training, and is literally free. Respond with love. When in doubt, choose the action that serves connection and compassion. Love is rarely the wrong answer, even when it's difficult. Trust the process. Life has an intelligence that exceeds your ability to control it, and that's actually a relief when you stop fighting it. Surrender is often the wisest action. Stay curious. Every moment offers new possibilities for learning and growth. Curiosity keeps you young and keeps life interesting. Help where you can. Use your gifts in service of something larger than yourself. Service gives life meaning without making it heavy. The humble recognition staying real AF 100 points integration includes accepting that despite all your perspectives and insights, you're still figuring it out as you go along. You're not done becoming human, and you never will be, and that's actually perfect. You still make mistakes, get confused, feel emotions that don't match your understanding, care about things that aren't ultimately important, and need other people to complete your understanding of literally everything. This isn't a failure of your development. It's proof that you're still beautifully, imperfectly human. Perfection is not the goal, authenticity is. And authenticity includes being a mess sometimes. The ongoing journey, it never really ends, and that's good railway. The path doesn't end with integration, it begins there. Now you have a full toolkit for responding to whatever life brings, and life will keep bringing new challenges because that's literally what life does. Some days you'll wake up feeling revolutionary and ready to fight injustice. Some days mystical and connected to everything. Some days you'll just feel like a regular person doing regular things and wondering why your back hurts. All of this is perfect. All states are valid. The goal isn't to become someone else we like you as you are, but to become more fully yourself with access to the full spectrum of human wisdom and response. The invitation to wholeness, embracing all of it, hugging face, you don't need to transcend your humanity, you can embrace it fully with all its contradictions and messiness. You don't need to choose between spirituality and activism, between acceptance and action, between meaning and meaninglessness. You can be a revolutionary mystic who builds things while laughing at the cosmic joke. You can be a comedic reformer who embraces the void while recognizing unity. You can be whatever combination serves the moment and feels authentic to you. Welcome home to the magnificent, contradictory, ever-changing, perfectly human experience of being alive. You are literally a walking miracle with opinions, and that's exactly what the world needs. In integrated wholeness and beautiful contradictions, the human who's embracing it all jigs his sparkles practice. Perspective, flexibility. Touch grass, but make it conscious integration this week. Pay attention to which perspective feels most natural in different situations. Experiment with trying on a different approach than your usual default. Notice how this expands your range of responses and makes life more interesting. Document your experiments in conscious living. Memo performing letter 9, the sacred relationalist globe showing Europe, Africa, You are because we are Ubuntu energy, no cap, my relations, and yes, that includes everyone reading this. I've traveled through perspectives that focused on changing systems, transcending separation, and integrating wisdom. Each offered its own medicine, its own way of engaging with existence. All were valid, but they were still kind of missing something fundamental. But underneath all seeking and all finding, I remembered something that was never forgotten. You do not exist as an isolated individual making choices about how to relate to the world. You are the web of relationships that has always constituted who you are. It's giving I am because we are energy, which is literally an African philosophy called Ubuntu, and it's about to change how you see everything. Ubuntu, the truth of interconnection, the real spider in the wisdom of Ubuntu. I am because we are. This isn't a nice sentiment for your vision board ads, a recognition of how existence actually works. You're not self made, you're community made, earth made, universe made. The breath in your lungs was gifted by plants who don't charge rent. The words you think were gifted by countless ancestors who developed language over millennia. The food in your body was gifted by soil, rain, sun, and the hands that tended it. The love in your heart was gifted by all those who loved you into being. You have no existence outside the relationships that constitute you. You are literally made of relationships, not just having them. The living web, everything is connected. For real globe with meridians, every choice you make affects 7 generations of ancestors whose DNA and wisdom live in your bones, and 7 generations of descendants who will inherit the consequences of your decisions. That's 14 generations total that are involved in your current choice to scroll social media instead of doing that thing you said you'd do. But this isn't just about humans, bestie. You're also in relationship with the land that holds your life and provides literally everything you need. Mother Earth is not a metaphor. She's your life support system, the more than human beings, animals, plants, waters, stones. Who are your elder siblings in a family of life and know things humans forgot? The seasonal cycles that teach about timing, growth, death, and renewal. Nature is the original teacher and doesn't charge tuition. Elements, earth, water, fire, air, that compose your body and sustain your existence. You are literally made of star stuff and ancient waters, your relational practice, how to live, Ubuntu like a pro handshake, learn where you are, know your home, what watershed provides your water, what plants and animals are native to your bioregion, what indigenous peoples originally stewarded this land. Understanding place is understanding your most fundamental relationship, and most people don't even know what river they live on. Practice gratitude that's actually meaningful before meals. Acknowledge the beings who gave their lives for your sustenance. This isn't Instagram spirituality, it's recognizing the reciprocal nature of existence where everything is sacrificed for everything else. Think 7 generations, expand your timeline. Before making major decisions, ask, how will this affect the children's 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 children? This expands your time perspective beyond immediate gratification and quarterly profits. Develop reciprocity, give back more than you take. Ask, how can I give back? Instead of, how can I get more? This shifts you from extractive to regenerative relationship. Taking and giving must be in balance, and most of us are WAY, out of balance. Listen to the land like it's your elder, because it is. Spend time in nature without agenda, phone, or plan. Let the natural world teach you about seasonal rhythms, sustainable relationships, and your proper place in the web of life. Nature is the original internet, and it actually works. The politics of relationship, when everything is political because everything is connected. Ballot from the relational perspective, political engagement becomes about tending to relationships that create the conditions for all beings to thrive. not just human. Politics is literally about how we relate to each other and the earth. This means supporting Indigenous sovereignty and land back initiatives. First Peoples First, always choosing local regenerative economic relationships when possible. Support your actual community learning from Indigenous wisdom about sustainable community. They've been doing this longer and better. Voting for policies that consider 7 generations of impact long term thinking is sacred thinking, practicing restorative rather than punitive approaches to conflict healing over punishment. Always the economics of gift. When money isn't everything, heart with riven Indigenous gift economies operate on the principle that wealth flows through giving, not accumulating. The healthiest community is one where, if circulate freely, where everyone's contributions are valued, where accumulation by individuals is seen as sickness in the social body. Even within current economic systems, you can orient toward reciprocity. Work becomes ceremony when it serves the web of relationships rather than just paying bills. Money becomes energy that either feeds life, feeds extraction, choose wisely. Resources become gifts to circulate rather than commodities to hoard, like a dragon healing historical trauma. The work we all need to do. Much dysfunction in current systems stems from historical traumas that severed relationships, and we're still dealing with the effects. Colonization that violently disconnected Indigenous peoples from land-based relationships and disconnected everyone else to slavery that violated the principle that humans exist in relationship, not as property. The trauma lives in the collective body. Industrialization that broke most humans' intimate connection with the natural world, and we're all paying the price healing, requires restoring right relationships, not just changing policies or posting the right things on social media. The trauma is still in our collective body and needs actual healing. The daily sacred, making everything ceremony, sparkles when you live from Ubuntu. Ordinary activities become ceremony and life gets more meaningful. Eating becomes communion with the beings who sustain your life, not just fuel for productivity. Working becomes contributing your gifts to the community, not just trading time for money. Speaking becomes weaving the social fabric through authentic communication. Words have power, use them wisely. Parenting becomes tending the relationships that will carry life forward, raising the future. Everything is sacred when you remember you're part of the web, not separate from it. The questions that guide, different questions, different life question mark instead of what should I do? The relational perspective asks better questions. What do my relationships need right now? How can I honor the ancestors who made my life possible? What are my responsibilities to future generations? How does this choice affect the web of life? What gifts am I meant to give back? Better questions lead to better answers and better lives. The recognition of belonging. You already belong. Always have houses. You don't have to earn your place in the web of life. You already belong and always have. You are not separate from nature. You are nature, becoming conscious of itself through human form. You're literally nature with anxiety and a smartphone. Your individual healing and the healing of the world are inseparable because you're not actually separate from the world. As you tend your relationships with land, ancestors, community, and future generations, you simultaneously heal patterns of separation in yourself and the world. In sacred relationship with all beings, seen and unseen, the relationalist who remembers we're all family globe dizzy practice. Ubuntu awareness, touch, grasp, but make it relational. This week, begin one day by acknowledging all the relationships that make your life possible, from the water you drink to the ancestors whose DNA you carry to the plants making your oxygen. Let this awareness of interdependence guide your choices throughout the day. Notice how this changes everything. Sebun Folda Butter 10, the emergence dancer cyclone. Life is creating itself fresh every moment, and you're co-creating fellow co-creator. Because that's who you are, whether you know it or not. I've explored paths of changing what exists, transcending what exists, and relating to what exists. Each revealed its own wisdom about engaging with reality. All were based on the assumption that reality is something that exists to be engaged with. But what if reality isn't something that exists to be engaged with? What if reality is always in the process of creating itself fresh every moment, and you're not just witnessing this creativity, but actively participating in it? What if you're literally co creating reality as you read these words? The creative edge where the magic actually happens, sparkles, the deepest truth isn't what is, but what is always emerging for the first time right now. Reality is literally improvising itself into existence moment by moment, and it's absolutely wild when you start paying attention. At every moment, existence is creating possibilities that didn't exist before. Not just new combinations of existing elements like a new flavor of energy drink, but genuinely novel possibilities that couldn't have been imagined from any prior perspective. The universe is literally making stuff up as it goes along, and it's getting more creative every day. You're living at the creative edge where the universe is inventing new forms of consciousness, relationship, and existence that have never been possible before. You're literally surfing the wave of creation itself, and it's the ride of your life. Beyond all frameworks, when all maps become outdated, world every framework we've explored revolution, mysticism, relationality is an attempt to understand what reality was. But reality is always transcending every framework we create to comprehend it. Reality is slippery like that, always one step ahead of our understanding. Even this perspective of emergence is being transcended as you read these words. The creativity of existence is so profound that it creates new ways of understanding creativity itself. It's meta all the way down, and the meta keeps updating. Your emergence practice dancing with the unknown like a pro woman dancing. Stay open to impossibility, expect the unexpected. Actively look for signs that reality is creating new possibilities that shouldn't be possible from current understanding. Keep your mind blown and your expectations flexible. Trust the creative process even when it's chaotic, even when, especially when life is creating forms that challenge everything you thought you knew about existence. Let life surprise you instead of trying to control the surprises. Participate without controlling ultimate collaboration. Offer your unique contribution to the creative process while staying open to outcomes that exceed your imagination. Be a creative partner, not a control freak. Live in the questions. Questions are where magic happens. Instead of seeking answers that lock down reality, stay alive to the questions that reality itself is exploring through its creative process. Questions keep you curious, and curious keeps you growing. Sense what wants to emerge, become a midwife for the future. Develop sensitivity to the faint signals of new possibilities that are trying to come into existence through you. Your intuition is literally the future calling you. The art of midwifery, helping birth the new breastfeeding rather than choosing actions based on known goals. Emergence means learning to sense what wants to be born and helping it come into being. You're literally helping the future give birth to itself through your choices and actions. This requires developing what artists know, the ability to detect what wants to emerge through the creative process itself, beyond what you planned or intended. Art teaches you how to collaborate with emergence instead of forcing your agenda. Writers discover what they didn't know they wanted to set. Scientists find aspects of reality that force entirely new frameworks. Lovers create forms of intimacy that didn't exist before their specific relationship. Entrepreneurs build businesses that solve problems nobody knew they had. The temporality of novelty, when the future creates the present alarm clock emergence, operates in a different relationship to time that's honestly mind-bending. Instead of the past determining the future actively reaches back to create the present. Time becomes more like a creative process than a linear progression. New possibilities that have never existed somehow call us forward into their creation. You're not just responding to what has been or participating in what is trying to become. The future is literally pulling you forward into new possibilities. This means your deepest practice is learning to sense what the future is trying to create through you, and then becoming a willing participant in that creation. The co-creative partnership, ultimate collaboration energy handshake. If reality is always creating itself into new forms, then your deepest purpose is conscious participation in this creative process. You're literally reality's creative partner, and reality is always looking for collaborators. Not as someone who creates things, but as someone through whom existence creates new possibilities for itself. Not as someone who achieves goals, but as someone who serves the emergence of what has never been possible before. This is the ultimate collaboration, not with other beings, though. That's also awesome, but with the creative principle of existence itself. You're literally in creative partnership with the universe. The never ending beginning, always day one. Energy sunrise emergence means every moment is the first moment of possibilities that have never existed before. Every breath you take is breathing reality that has never been breathed. Every thought you think is thinking possibilities that have never been thought in quite this way. You're always living at the creative edge of existence itself. You're literally always at the beginning of everything, which means every moment is full of infinite potential. The invitation to create your creative calling awaits Artist Palette. You cannot step into the same universe twice because the universe is always creating itself into new forms. And you're not just witnessing this creativity or participating in it. You're literally helping create reality with every choice you make. Every choice you make is the universe choosing new possibilities for itself. Every relationship you form is existence exploring new forms of connection. Every thought you think is reality, discovering new ways of being conscious. The question isn't what perspective to take on reality, but how to participate most fully in reality's creative self-exploration. How do you want to co-create today? What wants to emerge through you? In eternal creativity and endless emergence, the emergence dancer who's always beginning Cyclone Sparkle's practice. Creative sensitivity, touch grass, but make it creative this week. Practice noticing what wants to emerge in your life. Pay attention to subtle impulses, unexpected ideas, or new possibilities that seem to call to you like they have something important to say. Follow at least one of these emergent threads and see where it leads. Document the magic as it happens. Memo Glowing Letter 11, the reality author memo. You write the story of what's possible and your pen is powerful, fellow author of tomorrow. Yes, that's your actual job. I've journeyed through 10 ways of understanding and engaging with reality. Each offered its own wisdom, its own medicine, its own invitation to awakening. All were valid perspectives on what reality is. Now I write to you from the recognition that reality itself isn't fixed, it's authored moment by moment by the stories we choose to believe about ourselves and what's possible. You're literally writing reality into existence with your beliefs, your choices, and your authentic expression. The power of story, the ultimate technology, books, every system, every structure, every limitation exists because enough people believe in it and act like it's real. Money is real because we agree it's real and treat it as such. Governments have power because we agree they have power and comply with their rules. Limitations feel fixed because we agree they're fixed and live within them. But here's the secret that changes everything. You are not required to believe their story. You can literally write a different one. And when you do, reality shifts to match your new story. The victim story versus the author story. Choose your main character energy performing arts. You've been told you are powerless, a victim of forces beyond your control, just a small person in a big world that doesn't care about you. This victim story is their greatest weapon because it keeps you playing small. As long as you believe you're powerless, you remain powerless. It's giving learned helplessness energy, and it's not your vibe. The victim story says you're at the mercy of systems you can't influence. You're just a cog in the machine. Change requires permission from those in power. Wait for someone else to save you. Your voice doesn't matter. Stay quiet and don't cause trouble. Individual action is meaningless. Why bother trying? The world happens to you. Passive energy. Victim mindset. The author story says you are a conscious creator of your reality. Main character, energy activated change begins with your choices and ripples outward. You're patient zero for positive change. Your authentic voice carries unique power that nobody else has. Your voice matters, every choice. Matters because it influences the collective story. Butterfly effect is real. The world happens through you. Active co-creation, author mindset, your author practice, How to write reality like a boss. Writing Choose Your Story consciously, instead of accepting the narrative that you're powerless, choose to believe in your capacity to create positive change. This isn't toxic positivity, it's a strategic choice about which story to live from and embody. Speak your truth like it matters because it does. Use your authentic voice to share your vision of what's possible. Authentic expression has power that artificial amplification can never match. Your truth hits different when it's actually your truth. Build authentic community, algorithm proof connections. Connect with others who are authoring empowering stories. Word of mouth community building creates networks that algorithms can't manipulate. Real connection is algorithm proof and soul feeding. Act from possibility rather than limitation. Make choices based on the world you want to create, not the limitations you want to escape. Live as if the future you want is already emerging because it is. Document your experiments, open source your wisdom, share what you're learning about conscious reality creation. Your experiments inspire others to try their own. Open source your insights because wisdom shared is wisdom multiplied. The collaborative authoring, we're all writing this together, handshake. You're not writing the story alone, bestie. Every person who chooses the author's story over the victim's story contributes to a collective narrative that makes new possibilities real. It's giving collaborative fiction, but for actual reality, and it's absolutely beautiful. This isn't about convincing everyone to believe what you believe. That would be exhausting. It's about demonstrating through your choices that alternative stories are possible, inspiring others to explore their own creative power and write their own chapters. The technology of story, digital age, magic, laptop, computer, we live in the most powerful reality creation era in human history, and most people don't even realize the tools they have access to. The same technologies that can manipulate consciousness can also amplify authentic expression and conscious community building. Technology is neutral, intention, and awareness make all the difference. AI can be your collaborative partner in articulating visions that transcend current limitations. Digital networks can connect you with other reality authors worldwide. Communication tools can help you share empowering stories that compete with disempowering narratives. The revolution of authorship, the real revolution, raise fist. This isn't about overthrowing external systems through force. It's about recognizing that you are already the author of your experience, whether you realize it or not. You're already writing the story. The question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. The question isn't whether you're writing the story of your life you are. The question is whether you're writing consciously or unconsciously, whether you're authoring from empowerment or limitation, whether you're creating the reality you want or just accepting the reality others create for you. The story starts now. Every moment is a new page, open book. Every moment is a blank page waiting for your words. Every choice is a sentence in the story of what becomes possible. Every authentic action is a paragraph in the book of human potential. You're literally writing the future into existence with every decision you make. You don't need permission to start writing. They're not going to give it anyway. You don't need credentials to be an author. Your life experience is your credential. You don't need to convince anyone else that your story is true. Just live it. You just need to live it. Action is the ultimate form of authorship, and your life is your greatest work of art. In conscious creation and powerful storytelling, the reality author who's writing the future memo sparkles practice, conscious authoring, touch grass, but make it revolutionary this week. Identify one area of your life where you've been living from a victim story. I can't, because rewrite that story from an author perspective. I can take one concrete action based on your new story. Document the shift and watch reality respond to your new narrative. Books Fire Leonard 12, The Justice Awakener Balance. The system isn't broken, it's working as designed, and that's the problem. fellow truth seeker who's ready for the real tea, I've explored many perspectives on justice, power, and social change. Each offered its own understanding of how to create a more just world. Some were more naive than others, and I was definitely naive for way too long. Now I write to you from the painful but necessary recognition that our justice system isn't brokenets working exactly as designed. And that design isn't justice. It's wealth protection with moral branding, and the tea is absolutely scalding, but you need to drink it because the truth will set you free. The justice illusion, the biggest lie ever told with a straight face balance, equal justice under law, the words carved above the Supreme Court represent one of the greatest lies ever told in American history. It's getting propaganda carved in stone energy, and the audacity is honestly impressive in the worst way. The system you've been taught to respect operates on a simple principle: justice for purchase, punishment for poverty. That's it. That's the whole system in one sentence. Can't afford real defense? Take the plea and become a felon. Public defenders are overworked and underfunded by design. Have money? Buy your way out with expensive lawyers and delayed proceedings. Justice delayed is justice denied, but only for the poor steal $100 from a store. Prison time and a permanent record survival, criminalize steal $100 million through fraud. Settlement with no admission of wrongdoing crime literally pays if you're rich enough. The wealth protection racket, how it actually works. No cap money bag, what we call the justice system, is actually a sophisticated wealth protection service that operates like a subscription service for the rich, criminalizes poverty with surgical precision. Homelessness is illegal. Inability to pay fines becomes jail time. Drug addiction is treated as crime rather than health issue. Being poor is literally illegal in multiple ways, and that's not an accident. Protects wealth like it's a sacred duty. Corporate tax evasion is optimization. Wage theft is rarely prosecuted. Environmental destruction is cost of doing business. Wealth crimes are civil matters. Poverty crimes are criminal matters. Notice the pattern? Maintains order for capital above all else. Police protect property over people. Courts serve wealth over justice. Prisons warehouse those the economy discards. The system serves capital, not people, and it's working exactly as intended. Your awakening practice how to see through the matrix. I stopped believing in legitimacy theater. It's all performance. Recognize that many institutions serve wealth while claiming to serve justice. Your belief in their legitimacy is what gives them power. Withdraw your consent from illegitimate authority. Withdraw compliance energy vote with your participation. Reduce your participation in systems that consistently betray their stated purposes. Don't provide free labor to maintain your own oppression. Minimize participation in extractive systems wherever possible. Build alternative justice, create what you want to see, support community mediation, restorative justice practices, and mutual aid networks that serve actual justice rather than economic coercion. Fund and create alternatives that actually work. Share the truth. Knowledge is power. Shared knowledge is revolution. Help others see through the justice illusion by sharing what you've learned about how these systems actually operate. Knowledge shared is power multiplied, and truth spreads when people are ready. Support real justice. Put your money where your values are. Vote for representatives who haven't been purchased by wealth. Support policies that serve people over profit. Donate to organizations fighting for genuine justice. Your resources are your votes. The revolutionary recognition clarity is the first step to freedom fire. This isn't about hatred or desperate, it's about clarity, and clarity is power. Once you see how the game actually works, you can choose whether to keep playing by their rules or to build something better that actually serves justice. The system depends on your belief in its legitimacy and your voluntary compliance. When enough people withdraw both, the system loses its power to maintain itself. Mass non-compliance is the ultimate power, and they know it. The path to real justice, what it would actually look like, raised fist real justice would mean, and this is what we're building toward. Accountability for everyone, especially those with the most power to cause harm, no one above the law, for real economic systems that serve human needs, not capital accumulation economy for life, not profit, conflict resolution based on healing rather than punishment, restorative over punitive, always laws that protect life and dignity, not just property and profit priorities aligned with actual values. This future is possible, but only if enough people stop believing in the legitimacy of systems that consistently serve wealth over justice. The choice is yours, and the time is now. In truth, justice, and revolutionary clarity, the awakener who's done with the BS balance fire practice, justice, consciousness, touch grass, but make it revolutionary this week. Research one aspect of the legal or economic system you interact with regularly. Look beyond the official narrative to understand how it actually operates and who it actually serves. Let this awareness inform your choices and actions. Document what you discover. The truth needs witnesses. Noah Balance Letter 13, the silent presence, Milky Way, what never changes, allows all change. You've always been home, beloved being, because that's what you have always been, will always be. You have journeyed through 12 ways of understanding and engaging with existence. You have revolutionized, reformed, built, surrendered, recognized, emptied, laughed, integrated, related, emerged, authored, and awakened. You've basically completed the entire spiritual curriculum and the advanced course. I write to you from the recognition that beneath all these movements, all these perspectives, all these changes, there is something that never moves, never changes, and needs no perspective at all. Something that's been here the whole time, just quietly watching all you're seeking with infinite patience and love. The unchanging background that's always been here, Dove. Every word you've read has appeared in silence and returned to silence. Every insight you've had has emerged from stillness and dissolved back into stillness. Every perspective you've explored has been witnessed by something that remains completely unchanged no matter what happened. What has been present through every experience of your entire life. Not your thoughts, they change constantly. Thank God some of them were terrible. Not your feelings, they come and go like weather patterns. Not your body, it ages and transforms every day. Not your beliefs, they evolve and sometimes do complete 180s. But the awareness that knows all these changes that has remained constant. That's what you actually are. And it's been here all along. What you actually are, the ultimate plot twist sparkles. You are not someone who has awareness, who are awareness itself appearing as a temporary individual experience. It's giving, I am consciousness having a human experience energy. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This awareness is always present. It has never been absent for even a moment. No cap, literally impossible for it to leave completely peaceful. It's never disturbed by what appears in its main character energy, but peaceful and unshakable, unconditionally accepting. It welcomes all experiences equally. Ultimate non-judgment, no exceptions, naturally whole. It lacks nothing and needs nothing. It's literally complete as it is, always has been. The end of seeking when the search finally finds itself. Magnifying glass tilted left, every perspective we've explored involves some form of seeking justice, truth, meaning, love, peace, purpose, enlightenment. But what you actually are has never been absent, so it cannot be found. It has never been broken, so it doesn't need fixing. It has never been incomplete, so it doesn't need completion. The seeking ends not because you find what you're looking for, but because you recognize you are what you've been seeking. Plot twist of all plot twists. You were never lost, you just are about to remember. Your presence, practice the pathless path, home houses rest, as awareness be yourself. Literally, throughout the day, simply notice that you are aware. Don't analyze. Awareness just rest as it's giving, be yourself, but literally energy. And it's the easiest thing in the world. Welcome. everything. Acceptance is your superpower. Let awareness be the loving space that welcomes all experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations without trying to change them. Acceptance is your actual superpower, no training required. Return to presence home is always available. When you notice you've been lost in thoughts about past or future, gently return to the simple fact of being here now. Presence is always available, free of charge, no subscription required. Question the seeker who's actually seeking. When you notice yourself seeking something, happiness, peace, understanding, ask, who is seeking? Often the seeking dissolves when you can't find an actual seeker doing the seeking. The pathless path when there's nowhere to go, railway. This isn't a path because there's nowhere to go. You are already what you're seeking to become. You are already the peace you want to find. You are already the love you want to experience. The destination was always where you started here. This recognition might be clear sometimes and obscured other times. Both are perfect. What you are remains unchanged, whether it's recognized or not. You can't fall out of what you are no matter how hard you try. Living from presence, when enlightenment gets real glowing star, when this recognition stabilizes, life becomes more natural and effortless, but you're still wonderfully human. You still engage with the world, still care about justice and beauty and truth, but you do so from fullness rather than need. Actions flow from love rather than fear. Relationships become expressions of the unity you are rather than attempts to find completion from others. Work becomes service because you're not trying to get anything from life. You already are what you were trying to get. The final recognition, the ultimate mic drop microphone, you are not separate from what you're reading about. You are not someone learning about presence who are presence itself, temporarily appearing as someone reading about yourself. This letter is presence, aching to presence, awareness, recognizing awareness, the one appearing as many, and remembering it was always one. The invitation home, you never actually left house with garden rest, beloved. You don't need to become anything other than what you already are. You don't need to achieve any state, understand any teaching, or perfect any practice. You are already perfect, already whole, already home. You are already home. You have always been home. There's nowhere else to go because you are everywhere you can ever want to be. Home was never a place, it's what you are. But everything else come and go in the perfect peace of your unchanging presence. You are the sky in which all weather appears and disappears, and the sky is never disturbed by any storm. An eternal stillness and infinite love, the silent presence that you are, Milky Sparkles practice, simple being touch grass, but make it enlightened right now. Just notice that you are. Not thinking about actually being right here, right now. Rest in the simple fact of existence without needing to do or understand anything. Let this be enough because it is enough. You are enough. You always have been. Fold a dizzy conclusion. The compass within compass on finding your way through all ways. You've got this dear fellow traveler who's been through the entire journey. You have literally journeyed through 13 ways of being human. Challenging times. You've felt the fire of revolution and the peace of presence. You've explored the creativity of building and the wisdom of surrender. You've touched the laughter of cosmic comedy and the depth of sacred relationship. You've basically taken the full course in how to human consciously and aced all the assignments. Now comes the most important part, integrating these perspectives into your actual life, where you have to make real decisions about real things. This is where the rubber meets the road, where wisdom becomes practice, where philosophy becomes living. The internal compass, your built-in GPS that never lies compass after exploring all these ways. You might wonder, which one is right? Which path should I follow? What's my main character energy supposed to be? How do I choose? The answer is both simple and complex. Trust your internal compass. You have an inner guidance system that knows which perspective serves each moment, and it's more accurate than any external authority. Sometimes you'll feel called to revolutionary action, sometimes to patient reform, sometimes to creative building or mystical recognition or cosmic laughter. This isn't confusion, it's wisdom. It's the recognition that you don't have to choose one way of being forever. You can be a multi-class character in the game of life, and it's actually more fun and more effective. The Art of Response Choose Your Fighter Moment by Moment video game. The greatest skill you can develop is responsive flexibility, the ability to meet each situation with whatever approach serves best. It's giving emotional intelligence, but for life approaches, and it's honestly a superpower. Facing genuine injustice, Revolutionary Fire might be exactly what's needed. Working within institution. Reform as patience could be most effective. Starting something new, builder creativity might be calling your name. Overwhelmed by complexity, void peace could provide the relief you need. Taking life too seriously? Cosmic humor might restore perspective instantly. Seeking deeper meaning, mystical recognition could be available. Just living daily life. Simple human presence works perfectly and requires no training. Your continuing journey, the adventure never ends. Rocket, this book ends, but your journey continues because life keeps happening. Life will keep presenting you with situations that call for different responses. Your task is to keep developing your range, your sensitivity, your wisdom about which medicine each moment needs. Stay curious about perspectives that challenge you. Often our resistance points to where we need to grow. Resistance is literally information about your growth edge. Notice your defaults without judgment. What approaches do you naturally gravitate toward? What ones do you avoid like they're vegetables? Balanced wisdom means having access to the full spectrum, not just your favorites. Practice perspective shifting like it's a game. When you're stuck in one approach, try consciously adopting another. See how this expands your options and makes life more interesting. Flexibility is strength. Remember that all perspectives are medicine. Each one offers healing for certain conditions. The art is knowing which medicine serves which situation, like being your own spiritual pharmacist. The questions that guide better questions, better life, question mark, instead of asking what should I do? Try asking better questions. What does this situation actually call for? Which perspective would serve love in this moment? What approach would honor both my values and practical effectiveness? How can I respond from wisdom rather than reactivity? What would my highest self do here without being preachy about it? The gift of choice, your actual superpower wrapped gift, you now have 13 different ways to respond to life's challenges. This isn't overwhelming, it's empowering. You're no longer limited to one approach, no longer stuck when your usual strategy doesn't. You're like a spiritual Swiss Army knife with style. You can be a revolutionary when justice calls for fire, a reformer when patience serves progress, a builder when creativity wants to flow, an accelerationist when control fails, a mystic when unity beckons, a void embracer when rest is needed, a comedian when lightness serves healing, a human when simplicity fits perfectly, a relationalist when connection calls for Ubuntu energy, an emergence dancer when creativity beckons from the future, a reality author when possibility wants to be written, a justice awakener when truth demands to be spoken, a silent presence when peace serves everything, the ongoing practice. How to keep growing like a boss chart, increasing your practice now, is living consciously bringing awareness to your choices about how to respond to what life presents. It's giving mindful main character energy, and it's honestly the best way to live. This means paying attention to your internal compass. It's always right, staying open to approaches outside your comfort zone. Growth lives outside comfort, developing sensitivity to what each situation needs emotional intelligence for situations acting from wisdom rather than habit, conscious choice over autopilot, staying curious about the mystery of existence. Life keeps getting weirder and more beautiful, trusting the process of your own, unfolding you're exactly where you need to be. Ultimate recognition, staying humble if 100 points, perhaps the deepest wisdom is recognizing that you don't have to figure it all out. You don't need to become perfectly enlightened, completely revolutionary, or totally integrated. Perfection is not the assignment, and honestly, it would be boring anyway. You can simply be a human being who's committed to responding to life with as much consciousness, love, and wisdom as possible in each moment. That's literally enough. That's actually everything. Some moments you'll nail it and feel like a spiritual genius. Some moments you'll miss entirely and feel like a hot mess. Both are part of the beautiful, chaotic, magnificent process of being human. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. It's more relatable anyway. The final invitation, your next chapter awaits, glowing star. These 13 letters are tools, not truth. They're perspectives, not prescription. Take what serves you and leave what doesn't, like you're at a spiritual buffet. Trust your own experience over anyone else's teaching, including mine. You are literally your own best teacher. Your life is your curriculum. The situations you face are perfectly designed to help you develop whatever capacities you need to fulfill your unique purpose. Life is literally your spiritual teacher disguised as ordinary experience, and it's a really good teacher. The world needs who you are becoming through engaging consciously with whatever challenges you face. It needs your particular combination of perspectives, your unique way of integrating wisdom, your specific gifts and sensitivities that nobody else has. The journey continues. This is just the beginning, Rocket. This isn't the end, it's a beginning. You now have a map of human possibility that can guide you through whatever comes next. You're equipped for the adventure, and the adventure is going to be wild. The revelation will still be there if you need it. The void will still be available if you require it. The cosmic joke will still be funny when you remember to laugh. The silence will still be present when you're ready to rest. All the tools will be there when you need them. But right now, there's just this moment, this breath, this opportunity to respond consciously to whatever life is presenting. This is where the magic happens. This is where change begins. This is where you get to choose who you want to be. Trust your compass. It's never wrong. Use your tools. You have so many now. Stay open to mystery life. Keep surprising us. Serve love. It's always the right choice. Touch grass literally and metaphorically. Be yourself, all the versions of yourself. The journey continues, and you are beautifully equipped for whatever comes next. You've got this, bestie. You've literally always had this. With deep respect for your journey and genuine excitement for what you're becoming, a fellow traveler who's seen some shit and lived to tell about it and laugh about it, to glowing star, your continuing practice. The real work begins now as you close this book. Take a moment to sense which perspective feels most alive for you right now. Let that guide your next choice. Remember, you can always return to these letters when you need their particular medicine. The wisdom is always available when you're ready to receive it. And don't forget to touch grass literally and metaphorically. The earth is always here to ground you. Steepling a final note, because we're not done yet. If this book made you laugh, cry, think, or feel literally anything, share it with someone who needs it. Wisdom shared is wisdom multiplied, and the world needs more conscious humans who can respond to chaos with love, creativity, and maybe a little cosmic humor. The future is being written by people like you who choose consciousness over autopilot, love over fear, and authentic expression over conformity. You're literally writing the future with every choice you make. Make it a good story. Make it a true story. Make it your story. And remember, you're not just reading about these ways of being, you're living them. You're not just learning about consciousness who are consciousness exploring itself through human form. Welcome to the most interesting adventure possible, being consciously human in a time of great change. The world is lucky to have you. For real.
Thanks for listening.
There you go. Subscribe and follow for more. Tell two friends, Gen 33.